So, Heather, you were talking when we broke last in the last segment. You were suggesting that the Donald Trump, the Donald Trump pointing out that his judge in his lawsuit case at the Trump University was of Mexican heritage was an attempt to deflect from the actual reality of the case as documents were being released. And, I think there's also another element to it. He's done this before. It's a bit of a twofer, right? He did this with Susana Martinez as well when he was going in and criticizing her as a governor. He could have attacked her for the thing that has basically kept her rising star from rising too quickly in the Republican Party, which was that there was a scandal involving her and a late night party in a hotel where she called the police complaining that people were complaining about her. He didn't raise that. He raised other issues that I think did double work for him. Things like Syrian refugees, issues that sort of like were a twofer for him. And I think he was getting a little bit cute, I think, when he was talking about this Judge Curiel, because he wanted to both discredit what was going on in the case, to politicize it, as you say. But I think he also felt like this works well with my audience. And I think Donald Trump is basically experiencing what I called the Bachman syndrome. This goes back to when Michelle Bachman tried to deliver a State of the Union rebuttal to the Tea Party organizations via direct video, but also had a CNN camera in there that was just about 12 inches to the left of her, and she was talking directly into the Tea Party camera, but looked insane to people who are watching it on the CNN camera. And my theory is that you cannot talk to these two groups of people, the base of the Republican Party and the rest of normal America, simultaneously without looking crazy to one of them. And I think Donald Trump is realizing this, or maybe doesn't realize it, but is running into this problem. And let's just for a moment talk about what kind of situation it's put Paul Ryan into. Paul Ryan went out this week and said what Donald Trump said was the perfect example of racism. But, and I'm not paraphrasing now, but essentially, I'm still going to back him. This is extraordinary, it seems to me. I mean, this is an indication not of who Donald Trump is, maybe to a certain extent who Paul Ryan is, but who the Republican Party is. It is every Republican politician for themselves now, because Donald Trump is this burning tire around their necks. And it's as if they put the tire on and they said, this is not going to be so bad. And they're starting to smell something on fire. And it's apparently the portion behind them of that burning tire. And now they're stuck with this guy. And there doesn't seem to be a solution for them.
Well, I don't know how they get out of it. I mean, essentially what's happened, I think what you just said is absolutely correct. I hadn't quite thought of it that way before. But this is the Republican Party. And basically what's happened is what Paul Ryan said, yes, he's a racist, essentially. This is a textbook example of racism,
right.
But I'm going to back him anyway. Isn't that what the Republicans have been saying for the last, 40 years? I mean, this is them, essentially. Yes, we're racist. Yes, that person is racist. Yes, the Southern strategy is racist. Yes, our dog whistles to all these, white supremacists in our party. Yes, they're racist, but we're going to back them anyway. That's what they've been doing, and now it's right out in the open. No one can ignore it. You can't. What do you do with a man like Donald Trump, who basically is the Republican id, and stands up and just blurts out what everybody's been keeping on the down low for 40 years, and it's right out there, and everybody's looking at it. It's like you say, you're sitting there going, oh my God, it's the crazy, you're watching the crazy person instead of kind of winking and nodding at the Tea Party or the white supremacists or whoever. he's just coming right out, saying it to everybody who'll listen. This is what I'm about. And it's weird because I think he's kind of a person who actually thought that everybody agreed with him. You know how a lot of Tea Partiers are like that? Their weird assumption that, of course, it's like, we won the Congress, so naturally we have a mandate and we get to pass our entire agenda unopposed, and it's like, sorry, dudes, there's a lot. There's lots of people out here who don't agree.
That he believed that he was under that impression does not surprise me. I mean, we have to remember the way this guy ascended, at least politically, the way that he first got a political base was off of his birther stuff.
Yes.
And so, I mean, you're this guy, you put the birther stuff out, you check your Facebook page, you check your Twitter feed, which he literally does, and you're getting all of this positive reinforcement because, of course, it's like you put out the poop and all the flies come. You're not aware of everybody who's avoiding you because you're poop. And so he just assumes, and like I say, this is the Bachman syndrome. He doesn't realize, and maybe he will soon, but I don't know what he does in that situation because he doesn't want to forfeit his base. And frankly, if he starts, going out there and doing what he did this week, basically reading from the teleprompter, although he did have a moment where he was ad-libbing and he basically said, we're going to take care of our African Americans again. He is going to run into this problem where he is not satisfying the primary reason why, literally and figuratively, the primary reason why he is in this position. And meanwhile, you're still going to have the Paul Ryans out there basically having to go down with this sinking ship. They can't jump off it because they will get destroyed by the Republican Party that supports Donald Trump. This is the untold story of Donald Trump's run. Hopefully we'll see it told more, which is none of this is about Donald Trump. None of this is about Paul Ryan. It is about the Republican Party, what they have become after years of being trained to react Pavlovian style to this. They have become this. And Donald Trump is simply a representation of it. There's a film that goes through a light and we see it on the screen. Donald Trump is that projection. But the source of it is the Republican Party, and it's ensnared all Republican politicians. Heather, we will have more opportunity to talk about this in the coming weeks and months. It'll be disturbing, but also fairly enjoyable for me. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me, Sam.